In late 19th century England lived two young people who were long-time kindred spirits since childhood and now in love and destined to marry. Jasper had just returned from 3 years of musical study in Germany and hurried to meet Kate in the wood where they had collected berries together as children. They walked for a long time, reminiscing about the past, until they reached Kate's garden gate, where Jasper proposed that they meet again very soon. Kate agreed, adding that Jasper had not yet congratulated her. She then broke the shocking news that she was to be married next month to a Spanish man named Mr. Benoliel. Jasper had heard of this tycoon, described by others as rich, willful, and used to winning, with polished manners, but a lowlife in his actual dealings. Kate turned and walked down her garden path very slowly. The stunned Jasper later asked his family about Kate's planned wedding and why she was to marry this notorious rogue. They told him that Kate's father seemed to be in financial straits and Benoliel was rich. This opinion was confirmed when 2 weeks later Jasper visited Kate at home and observed how shabby her family dwelling had become. With a great deal of anguish, Kate also confirmed that, while she loved Jasper, she would be marrying Mr. Benoliel. By way of explanation, she asked him to look around to find out why. At the faded curtains, threadbare carpet and furniture, unkempt garden outside, even her own cheap gown. Although poor himself, Jasper begged Kate to reconsider, but she stated that an arrangement had been made. Mr. Benoliel had committed to advance her father a large sum of money once the nuptials had taken place. If her father did not receive this money next month, he would be ruined. Even Kate's priest had told her that she was doing the right thing. The night before Kate's wedding, Jasper retired to his room early, as even his own family were talking excitedly about the day ahead. However, he could not sleep or even read to distract his mind. The roving musicians called waits came and played carols beneath his window, but these seemed to add to his torture until they turned into a different kind of music. Slowly, he realized that he was hearing enchanting choral and organ music, which faded when he opened the window, but grew louder and more distinct when he shut it. The waits had long gone when he realized that he was listening to a ceremonial funeral mass, and one which he had never heard before. He lay awake all night, his mind crowded with images of loss and mourning, and decided that he needed to see Kate one last time. At his visit, Kate told him that she had also lain awake all night. She then told Jasper that strangely, well after the waits had gone, she had heard some haunting funeral mass music. Jasper quietly interpreted this coincidence as some kind of supernatural warning. However, the pair spontaneously decided to flee together. They walked 5 miles to the railway station and had soon obtained their marriage license from a civil court and were discussing where to go next. In the meantime, Benoliel would have arrived at the church, so that Jasper was surprised when Kate suggested that the two of them go to Devonshire. This was to be the place of her planned honeymoon with Benoliel, who she was sure would be highly unlikely to go there now. It was on the 5th day of their so far very happy marriage that Jasper divulged to Kate that he too had heard that unearthly midnight music, the Mass for the Dead, the night before their departure. She instantly had a quite different take on the strange coincidence, suddenly seeing it as a warning that they should have fled temptation and now regretting their elopement. She started worrying about her father and the disgrace of his bankruptcy. Although the pair continued to enjoy their holiday, Jasper observed Kate's anxiety about her father grow day by day, even despite his offer of having him live with them. Finally, he suggested that Kate see a priest to obtain some spiritual support. They found a nearby Catholic church in Torquay, but as they moved through its outer doorway, they heard music coming from inside. Kate whispered that it was the same as the music they had both heard. Realising that there must be a funeral underway, Jasper motioned to leave, but Kate was determined to find out about the music and who the deceased person was. Once the funeral was over, Jasper asked the church official whose music had been played. The man stated that their own organist had composed the music and that it was the first time it had been played. When asked who the deceased person was, he described him as a foreign gentleman whose intended bride had given him the slip on the wedding day. The groom had already given her father thousands of pounds. Strangely, in his anger, he had set out on his planned honeymoon trip regardless, but had been involved in a railway accident. Everyone in his carriage had instantly perished. Luckily for the young lady, as he put it, she was off with someone else. Kate asked the man's name, Benoliel. It came out that despite buying a wife, Benoliel's pride had stopped him from reclaiming his purchase money when the deal fell through. Kate and Jasper were now free to experience their marital bliss and her father's financial debts paid off. But an explanation was never found for the phantom funeral music they had both heard that night.